see my slippers. Ooh, get a spring here. What up, tube? So, wanted to come on today and just give you a little heads up about the project that we're going to be working on here. It's a little bit easier for me to put everything on camera in these little parts, so hey, this is what we're going to do. As you guys know, I've been hanging out with a little kitty lately. Her name's Boots. At least that's what we're calling her. Meow. Meow. And, you know, Miss Boots and I, you know, we've got to know each other, and she really does like walking around the studio space. Mostly because, you know, there's a lot of cardboard in here, and I keep the floors actually covered with tarps, you know, for the paint, because it's covered it. You need to do something for your floors, you know. So I do a lot of that, and she likes walking around in the space with me, and I'm like, is she creative at all? You know, would she be painting? You know, would she be able to paint? So I kind of got this idea, and I, you know, did some YouTube research on everything. I got a couple canvases, and I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of what I did with the canvases here, just so that you get an idea. Now, these are canvases that I've had where, like, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little nick in there, another one here. I believe this one here I taped I taped this one first and then put a thing of plastic inside. I'm going to see if I can even get the plastic out just so you can see. Kind of did this a while ago, so bear with me. But yeah, you can see like it's plastic here, and I have the tape that I used just to tape the back edge of this one here. Just because of the, like I said, I have a tool next to it. I didn't tape all that process, you know, as far as videoing all of that. Probably would have been smarter to put together on camera. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, probably would have been smarter to use the other one that I more recently did. This is, oh god, this is an 11x14 canvas here. You know, like I said, I got the plastic in here. Oh, it's not perfect, but yeah, I got the plastic in here. I'm going to put some cardboard in also, just so that it's a little bit easier as far as taking everything out. And the reason why I'm doing, you know, this double layer of protection for these is because Meow has claws. Yeah, so, you know, I don't want to get any more little nicks and cuts and sticks and whatever. And, you know, I probably am just from doing all the work that I'm doing with the plastics. So, yeah. You get it, it's kind of flat, and it's good to go. So like I said, you know, so, what did I say, 11x14? It's about her size, I don't know. I don't know if she's gonna let me pick her up. Meow. 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 So, you know, we'll see about that. This other one here is actually a 16x20 black canvas. And, you know, you can see like a little bit of the canvassing stuff and gesso and everything starts to come off here. So you just have to weave. I don't think I used this before, but, you know, definitely it's knocked around, kicked around. There's a little tear here, a nice sized tear, as we can see on the canvas here. So, again, cardboard's pretty easy to cut, obviously, and you probably could just do the layer of cardboard inside and then have some plastic. Like I said, this was a little bit easier on me. And I just taped the one spot here. I may actually, now that I'm looking at this, you know, just anything you feel uncomfortable with, you know, go ahead and throw some tape on there. It's not gonna hurt. It's the back side, you know. Like I said, this is a spare canvas that I obviously was not going to be using for, traditional fluid art paintings like the ones that you see behind me because of imperfections. And this happens. You go to Michael's, you go to, any sort of art supply store, not all of your canvases are going to be perfect. I don't know what the return policy is on imperfect canvases, or if anybody really thinks of that, or people will always get perfect canvases and I'm the only person. I don't know all that. Don't ask me those questions. I'm smart, but I don't know if I'm that smart, so yeah. Don't ask me all that. But I at least know that, hey, I can get this much out of a canvas here. And I could probably, I'm seeing I got a little bit of arrow down here on the end. I could probably, it'll fit right there. Boom. I just happen to have another little piece of plastic. It fits right on in, So we got the 16 by 20. It's going to be covered. I'm going to throw this back in here also, just so I have a nice little seal there. And yeah, I think I am pretty much protected so that when Kitty comes, he's not going to claw through. But I know. You're like, wait a sec, you said your cat's going to be painting. Explain that to me, Derek. So, there's a couple of ways that I've seen really to do this. And the one that seems to interest me the most involves a couple of things. Obviously, like surface, canvas. It's going to be the most important. Well, one of your more important things. And paint, which I have plenty of paint. But we need to, protect the cat and the surface. And everything else. So there's an idea of using plastic bags, which I actually found these online. They're a little bit bigger than what I'm going to need for the 16 by 20, but it should work. I have some tape, as you can see, that I can use for the edges of this. And I got 2 of them just in case I ran into another large canvas. A larger canvas. A lot of people that I've seen, doing this have used smaller canvases that they've had that are damaged. And as I dig through, I probably will find some other smaller ones and just let her have at it, or maybe have her, do some collab work where I go back and have her paint something on top of one of my canvases, to see how that works out there. I also had this. It was a patient bag from my ear surgery. And I noticed that the backside didn't have any belongings. And one of the things they said was, make sure that the bag closes, which this kind of closes, but I probably will tape it. I thought this would be good for the smaller one. This was originally where I had the idea, and then I just happened to find the bigger canvas when I was moving. So that's why we have a few different bags here that we're going to be choosing from. And then, as you can see, like, vinyls maybe, we might work with some things here. The last thing I want to get to that I have before we get started on all this. This is what we do here. So I ordered these actually from a company online, Meow Box. Those are right back. I ordered 2 of them just so I would make sure that I had one to kind of video and show, okay, I'm doing the process, this is what I got here. But these are Silverine toys, and I did make the point of opening one just so I could even look at it. Silverine is, catnip is like, I don't know how to put it, like kitty pot, kitty crack, I guess. And, a lot of cats love it. Some cats don't love it. Silverine's like the other natural thing that cats could love if they don't like catnip. Boots will eat catnip. Like, I'll just kind of sit it there and she'll just eat it like it's grass. But I don't really notice her like going zoomy zoom zoom because she had some catnip. And I've tried a few different strains of catnip. No, I know. Strains of catnip. but I've tried a few different types, you know. I have some actually over there I'll be trying for this experiment also, but you know, because they were like, hey, put some catnip on there. And I'm like, well, you know, if she's going to be an artist, she's going to need a brush. So, what I'm hoping is, you know, actually it would go inside the bag first, and then, you know, she gets a little, like, she can play with this somehow. Like, maybe I'll cover this in catnip and kind of throw it at her. So, you know, we'll figure it out. But that's what's going on. And this is like really kind of flaky, but also hard, but I don't really know, you know. We'll see how she likes it. It's supposed to be all natural. Yeah. I did also see like online there was a makeup brush that someone had. Maybe that would have been a better toy. But it was like a fan brush, you know. Who doesn't love a good fan brush? So we'll see, you know, maybe I'll have to go back and get a new toy for the next time we do this, but I figured this would be a cool little project, you know, kind of lift this up on our Saturday, Sunday, just Saturday when I'm filming this. So, yeah, we're going to get started and we'll see what we got, okay? Sounds like a winner? Good, because we're recording, yeah. All right. What up, Tube? Yeah. So this is Kitty Experiment Part 1, and because of how they do the kitty experiments when I've seen them online, I don't think that I'm going to do fluid art yet on this one. This is actually just a canvas that I happen to, you know, have and own. Extra little canvas here. And I don't know, I'm just gonna, you know, see what happens. I have some mini Artist Loft colors that I'm pulling out here. These aren't even mixed. I mean, they're like straight from the tubes, and they're like some old tubes that I had. So we're gonna see what we can get out of this here, you know, for the kitty. This is Kitty Experiment number 1, as I said. So, you know, I got some metallics in here. I see some yellows, red, magentas, violets, turquoise blues, green. And yeah, we're just going to see if there's any of these that we can kind of put together. Maybe I'll do it as like a beachy type of scene at first, and then that way, you know, she can do her thing on top of it. You know, beachy or something-y, or just make a cat. I was kind of looking to see if I had a white in here. Type white. That's an old thing of white there. I mean, that's a really old white there. You know, some other greens, black, yellow. So yeah, we're just going to take some colors here and put it on this old canvas and put it down for the kitty. As I said, I put the backing on there. I got a couple little nick marks that I've taped and backed. So yeah, we'll just see what kind of comes up and what kind of happens. I'm so used to putting a pillow on these. Like, even the thought of doing it without a pillow is just kind of like, ugh. But, you know, the ones that I've seen, they're just gonna press straight on. Yeah, I can't even make myself without a pillow. Here. All right, are you a pillow? I hope so. I'm just gonna put a little bit of this kind of as a pillow on the outside and inside areas. I don't even know if I'm going to now. Now that I put the pillow on, it's like, well, do I want to fluid art this, or do I just want to regular art it? Yeah, we don't know, you know? This is a different white here that I'm just kind of using as a touch in, and you know, these are just some like kind of Floetrol-y mixed paints here. In fact, I can see the Floetrol in that first bit. Yeah, as I said, I'm just letting it mix. I'm gonna smooth this out over my canvas here just so that there's a covering. You know, the pillow's not necessary right now because, like I said, I'm thinking I'm just gonna add color straight in. A lot of what happens with fluid art, as far as your, you know, bubbles, as they call them, is, you know, mix it in with different additives and stuff. So, but a lot of it is also weight. I have a black over here too. It's like, don't make a fluid painting, just make a regular one. So yeah, we got some paint on the canvas here. I'm just gonna drop some. Like I said, I'm just putting paint in places. This is really just leftover paint that I'm dropping in to some of these spots here, just to see what happens. You know, there's no real rhyme or reasoning behind any of this here. You know, I'm not necessarily like trying to do something grandiose, as they say. You know, and I think that's important to point out because a lot of times when we do art like this, you know, there's this thought of, oh, well, you made that on purpose. You put, you know, those paint colors in these positions for a reason. And, you know, there's this big method button. It's like, no, no, no. There's method behind the madness, sure, you know. I'm often thinking, well, what colors will go well together? You know, and what spots can I have colors touch or not touch? You know, I might have an idea, okay, you know, these are some colors that I saw at sunrise or sunset, you know, while I was out one day, or man, I really like these colors here. They were, you know, available for me in a moon setting. But as far as being like, oh yeah, you know, I thought that I was going to make a galactic mountain when I set foot. No. I don't think I've ever, you know, stepped in and said, oh yeah, I think I'm going to make, you know, strawberry shortcakes, you know, or whatever. It's always been like, oh, I just happen to make strawberry shortcakes. There is no green in this, I'm noticing. And I'm like looking at greens too. Like, man, Derek, you really should add some greens into this. Again, I don't just take you up by hand. I don't know if this is going to mix the same because these are unmixed paints. You know, I put the pillow down like, oh yeah, I need to put a pillow on here. You know, which could have just been a pillow of white paint. I didn't have to use white mixed paints for this part. And I will use unmixed paints in my regular pours also. sometimes, especially with the glow-in-the-dark colors, which I have not put any in. I just realized there is no glow on this. Sorry, Meow, you don't get the glow today. Meow, 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 meow. There's your green. That's the deep green. I meant to put up a metallic. Let's see here. Do we have any? If there's anything left in here where I can drop it on there. I think this green was mixed. This is a glow-in-the-dark green that I'm dropping on here now. You know, because I was just like, there's no glow colors. So, you know, of course I gotta add some. Gotta add some, you know. I think I am going to go ahead and do the second one of these, since I do have a mixed up black that I can use. Because that was like a whole thing. I didn't want to use the black on this here. You know, I was just like, all right, well, figure it out, I guess. I'm just dropping these glow colors kind of on top. Like I said, I do have the black canvas that I can use. So this is where I'm at so far. Like I say here, I want to just drop some of these colors on, you know, just to see kind of what happens with them. And yeah, I'm gonna, you know, let these colors kind of marinate for a second. I am gonna hit it with a torch, just in case there are any air bubbles in the mixed paint that I've used. Okay. And then I'm gonna prep this one here into sleeve number one. For sleeve number one, I think I am gonna use the bag. I'm gonna prep this here so that I can do the cat art and the other one. But I'm gonna do sleeve number one in the bag because it is a clear bag, and because I can. So very carefully, I'm picking the bag up, picking the canvas up. Very careful as to not try to touch too much of the sides or anything on my canvas. It's gonna be messy. It's gonna be very, very messy. Okay, so I have kind of a, and I mean, it's already starting to become a paint, but I'm just gonna set this over to the side and we'll prep for canvas number two, maybe. But before we do that, this is the point where I drop a brush tool onto the thing to see if she at all reacts to it. See if she wants to paint the canvas at all. I heard somewhere that Kevin Light was changing Interlight, or no, he wasn't changing Interlight. He was going AI. That's what it was. Yeah, the guy who did Interlight, Kevin MacLeod. Interlight being the song that I've used on YouTube as background music. You know, the guy who wrote it, Kevin MacLeod, has written a lot of what we call, royalty-free music, background music per se, over the years. And there's an app out, I think it's called Soda, or something like that. This really big AI. All the kids are using it. And by kids, I mean the people who are too lazy to write their own music. So, there was an interview recently, and Kevin was saying that I guess he switched over to using the app also. Which, say what you will, background music can be kind of easy breezy, beautiful, but also it's important to have, and we're not necessarily like wanting to give up all of our musical choices to the robots right now. So that's just how that is. Well, it doesn't really work if you take the... Come on here. Help me out a little, okay? Help me out a little, girl, okay? I think you like the brush. Here, I'm gonna put some kitty weed on there. Let's put some kitty weed out. Yeah, put some kitty weed on there also. It's like I want for her to interact with the canvas a little bit more. That's the thing, like she's not really a roll around. She's not necessarily a roll around and catnip type. She's more of a eat the catnip type. So the silver theme, I think that's how you say that. Silvering. It's the substance on the brush. It's supposed to be like catnip, but not necessarily catnip. I was hoping that she'd react to that too by getting a little more personal with the canvas, and instead she's just having herself a little meal there. So that's that. I wonder if I can, because she really hasn't like pooped through the bags or anything. I wonder if I can clean the bag and have another go at this. I guess she's really licking those spots there. Is that what you're doing? You're licking those spots, man? Yeah. More interested in licking yourself, though? Okay. Do I need to try toys instead of just, because you're like, I eat this stuff. I don't play in it. Well, for Christ's sakes. Then that came from a Bare Naked Ladies live concert recording that I heard. Excuse me. Because right now, if I had $1 million, I'd be doing a lot better. But, you know, I'm sure everybody's saying that. Ooh, boy. We all feeling it right now. Yeah, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, ring the bell, all that sort of fun stuff there. Notifications. You know, get down on when I'm going to be doing no more paintings and releasing them, all that sort of fun stuff there. We've started reworking the website so that it's more website-y. So, you know, give a like for that. I think she's just like sitting on the, I don't even think she's like, oh no. Are you done? You're not done? You were just taking a selfie? Okay. This is actually kind of fun. I am curious to see how this turns out because it is a mixture of fluid paint and regular paint, and you know, I'm just like kind of curious about it. I don't know. I'm kind of like, do I want to make the other one today? Do I want to wait, you know, another day, next week, whatever, see how this one comes out? You know, make something of my own. We like a little comparison shopping. Whose is better? Are you done, Meow? Apparently cats don't make these noises to each other, but they do make them to humans. You're done? Okay, I'm turning off the camera and taking away your masterpiece so I can take it out and see how it looks. You're saying you're done. No! Yeah, let's paint it here. Let's see how it looks. Alright, let's see what we got here. That's our brush, which she didn't kill, but you know, still brush. There's our plastic wrap here, which is gonna be a messy little find. Ooh, that's gonna be messy. And I'm sure that, you know, a lot of this is also just the plastic wrap layered on top of the painting there. Probably gonna spread it out before she really got comfortable on it. But okay, I'm gonna just tilt to the side over here just to see if I can get a little tilting action. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, just because of the fact that I do have some thicker paints on here. Probably call this like catch scratch fever or something, you know, cheesy like that. Catnip. Name it after that nip. Not sure why that suddenly brought out the black in me. Hypnotic. Getting hypnotic. I think if I'm going to do it fluid style for the next one, I have to use all fluid paints and not just like one or two. I think also I could get away with
a smaller one with just the cardboard. Or hell, I mean, I don't really have to reinforce it if she's just going to be laying on top. I don't know. What do you think? It's kind of fluidy. Has a little bit of fluidity, I guess you'd say. Yeah, it's kind of fluid. Yeah, I'm going to set that guy over there. So I end up using them in 5 minutes. Let me see if I can pop some more bubbles on this. All right, so cat painting number 1 looks to be good. Let me know what you think. Oh, let's see if the glow stuff actually worked while we still have a little bit of time without sunlight being up. The one thing with summer approaching is that all this good painting time goes away. And it's got a little bit of glow in it, you know? So meow. Meows can be very inspirational also. Yeah, cats can be inspirational. You know? I think this cat here is inspiring me to be a better human being every day. Some days I do better than others, but each time I'm able to come back and sit down and have her come and sit on my lap and make her biscuits and purr, reminds me that I'm not alone in this world. And, you know, if you're feeling alone in this world, there's all sorts of things. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So, you know, family, friends, therapist, you know, getting yourself spiritual practices, praying, being outside in nature, exercising, you know, eating well. Keeping your body well, staying hydrated. But yeah, you know, also with that, getting a cat, I guess. Or, you know, dogs if you're a dog person. I've tried dogs, I'm not really a dog person, so cat. But yeah, I think that's all the time we're gonna have now. I'm gonna clean up and probably try to do a couple other things, but let me know what you think. Till next time, remember, light will always break through darkness. Deuces.